Hello everyone, welcome to my session where I will teach you how to say simple phrases such as beautiful person and quiet evenings in Japanese. Now what's the deal with these? The deal with these is that you've got to know some grammar in order to say stuff like that correctly. Why is that? The grammatical structure you're using depends on the type of the adjective which we are talking about. So because there is some grammar involved here, I will first touch upon some important grammar. It will be very simple, don't worry. And after that, we will reinforce that together in the practice session, which I can't emphasize it enough. It's the most important session because here you will practice and you will reinforce the concepts on your own. Everyone new, welcome to my channel. My name is Renata and I'm here to help you make sense of Japanese language. So let's get into it. So I'm pretty sure that by this time you already know that there are two types of adjectives in Japanese language. The first category are the ones that end in the hiragana I, and this is how they look like. The second category are all others, and this is how they look like. I'm showing these only for illustrational purposes. We will use these extensively in the practice session. We will practice based on this set of vocabulary, which you will see when we are getting there. The reason I find this classification important is that they behave differently in many grammatical situations. They behave differently when it comes to building the past and also when it comes to building simple phrases, which is the purpose of this session. Simple phrases, I mean things like busy person or quiet child. Yes, if you want to say this kind of stuff, you have to take grammar in consideration, unlike in English. And also, because this is a grammatical issue, the jlpt loves to test you on that. So if you have this straight, not only will this increase your chances to pass the jlpt, even more importantly, it will help you speak more correct Japanese. So stick with me till the end, do the practice together, and you will be all good. Alright, so let's look at them a bit closer. What's the deal with these phrases? As I earlier said, when you want to say stuff like busy person or quiet evening, you've got to be able to make the distinction what kind of adjectives we are dealing with. Because yes, if you want to build these structures, the type of the adjectives becomes relevant, okay? So let me look at the first category that end in the hiragana I. How do we say busy person? It's very simple. If you want to say busy person, you would say isogashi hito. Isogashi hito. It's this simple like that, you know, just how English works. You don't need to think any further than that. Things get a bit trickier when it comes to the other category, because when it comes to the other category, if you want to say quiet evening, for example, you would say shizuka na yoru. As you could observe, there is this na here, which is pretty much what you need to know. In order to speak correctly, these kind of adjectives require this na at the end. Let me put it this way to you. This is everything in black so you could see it better. It's only this na which is added. This is what these all other adjectives require. If you do that, you are all good and your Japanese will be very correct. So the only thing I want you to remember is to add this na when it comes to the adjectives that do not end in a hiragana I. And I'm pretty sure everything will be much clearer when it comes to an example. So let's look at an example now. This is the table I want you to help me fill out. So what I want you to do here is to help me say things like solid building. So let's have the vocabulary first. How do you say building in Japanese? In Japanese, you would say tatemono, okay? And how do you say solid? In Japanese, you would say jobu. Now, in order to build this structure, the first question I want you to ask: is there a hiragana I at the end of the adjective? Is there one? I see none. If there is none, that means that we will follow the second pattern, right? So how would you say solid building in Japanese? Here is the pattern. I want you to use this pattern. So you would say jobu na tatemono, right? Simple as that. Great, let's see the next one. How do you say loud dog? Let's look at the vocabulary first. How do you say dog? You would say inu, right? And what about loud? You would say urusai. How do you say loud dog? What's the question we ask? Is there a hiragana I at the end? Is there one? There is definitely one. That means we will use pattern number 1, right? So that means that you will say, it's very simple. You would say urusai inu, right? Simple as that. Just how English works. You don't need to think any further. Great. Let's see the next one. I want you to say useful book. How do we say that? Let's look at the vocabulary. How do you say book? In Japanese, you would say hon. And what about useful? I like this one. This will be tricky. You would say benri. Now the question, is there a hiragana I at the end? Is there one? Careful, not the Roman I. There is definitely a Roman I at the end. But the classification is not about the Roman I. It's about the hiragana I. When we think in terms of hiragana, this one ends with ri. You see? Not with I. Okay? So please don't look at the Roman alphabet because it would create confusion. Okay? So since this doesn't end with the hiragana I, we will use this pattern, right? Okay, so how would you say it? You would say benri na hon, right? Excellent. Let's see the next one. I want you to say lively city. How do you say city? You would say machi. And how do you say lively? You would say nigiyaka. Great. How do you say lively city? Is there an I in the end? I see none. So how would you say it? You would say nigiyaka na machi, right? Excellent. Let's see the next one. How do you say energetic cat? This is a good trap too. Let's do it together. How do you say cat? You would say neko. And what about energetic? You would say genki. Now which one is this? Does it have an I at the end, a hiragana I? It does not. It has a Roman I, but we care about the hiragana I. That means we will follow pattern number 2, right? How would you say it? You would say genki na neko, right? Great. Let's see the next one. I want you to say busy man. How do you say man in Japanese? You would say otoko. And how do you say busy? You would say isogashi, right? So how do you say busy man? What kind of adjective is this? Does it have an I in the end, a hiragana I? It certainly has. That means that you would say isogashi otoko, right? Excellent. Let's see the next one. I want you to say skilled student. How do you say that? How do you say student? Student would be gakusei and skilled would be jouzu. Oh, my apologies. There is a typo. It's jouzu, okay? So how do you say skilled student? So what's the deal with this adjective? Does it have a hiragana I at the end? I see none. That means we will follow pattern 2 and you will say jouzu na gakusei, right? Great. And let's see the last one. I want you to say happy woman. How do you say woman? In Japanese you would say onna. And how would you say happy? In Japanese you would say ureshii. So how would you say happy woman? What pattern does this follow? What adjective is this? Is there a hiragana I at the end? I certainly see it. That means we will follow the simple pattern, right? Pattern number 1. You would say ureshii onna. Simple as that. Excellent and congratulations. That makes it for the end of this lesson. Thank you very much for your attention and I hope to see you in my next lesson. Have a great day.